Hello and welcome back at the FinUplink channel. Now we are focused at the network security fundamentals, where you as a network administrator have to know the threat actors and your network vulnerabilities and how to make it difficult for these threat actors to gain access to your network. And we are at the second part. And at the first part, we explain why basic security measures are necessary on a network devices. And we even identify some security vulnerabilities. And now, in the second part of the network security fundamentals, we will identify general mitigation techniques, and we even configure network devices with device hardening features to mitigate security threats. At the first part of the network security fundamentals, we learn how threat actors can break into the networks. And now we have to understand what to do to prevent this unauthorized access. To mitigate network attacks, you must first secure devices including routers, switches, servers, and hosts. Most organizations employ a defense-in-depth approach. Also, it is known as a layered approach to secure their network. This requires a combination of networking device and services working in tandem. Let's consider the figure of this network. And there are several security devices and services that have been implemented to protect its user and access against the TCP/IP threats. And as you can see, the first one is the VPN, which is a router that is used to provide secure VPN services with corporate site and remote access support for remote users using secure encrypted tunnels. We have even the ASA firewall, which is a dedicated device provides stateful firewall services. It ensures that internal traffic can go out and come back, but traffic from external cannot initiate connection to inside host. We have even the intrusion prevention system, which monitors incoming and outgoing traffic for looking for malware, network attack signature, and more. If it recognizes a threat, it can immediately stop it. We have even the email security appliance and web security appliance, where the email security appliance filters spam and suspicious emails, and as for the web security appliance, filter known and suspicious internet malware sites. And lastly, we have the AAA servers. This server contains a secure database of who is authorized to access and manage network devices. Network devices authenticate administrative users using this kind of database. And another way to mitigate the network attack is the backups. Backing up device configuration and data is one of the most effective ways of protecting against data loss. A data backup stores a copy of the information on a computer to removable backup media that can be kept in a safe place. Infrastructure device should have backups of configuration files and EOS images and an FTP or similar file server. If the computer or router hardware fails, this data or configuration can be restored using the backup copy. Backup should be performed on a regular basis as identified in the security policy. Data backups are usually stored off-site to protect the backup media if anything happens to the main facility. Windows hosts have a backup and restore utility. It is important for users to pick up their data to another drive or to a cloud-based storage provider. Here in this slide, it is listed a table that shows backup consideration and their description. And as for another way of network attack mitigation is the upgrade, update, and the patch. Keeping up to date with the latest developments can lead to a more effective defense against network attacks. As new malware is released, enterprises need to keep current with the latest version of antivirus software. The most effective way to mitigate a worm attack is to download security updates from the operating system vendor and patch all vulnerable systems. Administrating numerous systems involves the creation of standard software images that is deployed on a new or upgraded systems. However, security requirements change and already deployed system may need to have updated security patch installed. One solution to the management of critical security patch is to make sure that all end systems automatically downloaded update as it is shown here in this Windows 10. Security patches are automatically downloaded and installed without user intervention. All network devices should be securely configured to provide only authorized individuals with access. Authentication, Authorization, and Accounting, which stand for AAA, Network Security Service, provide the primary framework to set up access control on network devices. AAA is a way to control who is permitted to access a network, which stands for authenticate, what action they perform while accessing the network, which stands for authorize, and making a record of what was done while they were there, which stands for accounting. This concept of AAA is similar to the use of a credit card. The credit card identifies who can use it, how much the user can spend, and keeps account of what items the user spent money on, as it is shown here in this figure. And as another way for network attack mitigation is the firewall system, where a firewall is one of the most effective security tools available for protecting our users from external threats. A firewall protects computers and networks by preventing undesirable traffic from entering internal networks. Network firewalls reside between two or more networks, control the traffic between them, and help prevent unauthorized access. For example, there is a topology that illustrates how the firewall enables traffic from an internal network host to exit the network and return to the inside network. And the other topology illustrates how traffic initiated by the outside network is denied access to the internal network. A firewall could also allow outside user controlled access to a specific service. For example, servers accessible to outside users are usually located on a special network referred to as the demilitarized zone, as it is shown here in this figure. The demilitarized zone enables a network administrator to apply specific policies for hosts connected to that network. And there are different types of firewall. Firewall products come packed in various forms. These products use different techniques for determining what will be permitted or denied access to a network. These include the packet filtering, which prevents or allows access based on the IP or the MAC addresses. Application filtering, which prevents or allows access by specific application types based on the port number. We have the URL filtering, which prevents or allows access to the website based on the specific URL or keyword. And we even have the stateful packet inspection. Incoming packets must be legitimate responses to requests from internal hosts. Unsolicited packets are blocked unless permitted specifically. Stateful packet inspection can also include the capacity to recognize and filter out specific types of attacks such as the denial of service. And for the endpoint security, we have to know that on endpoint security is an host or an individual computer system or device that act as a network client. Common endpoints are laptop, desktop servers, smartphone, and tablet. Securing endpoint devices is one of the most challenging jobs of a network administrator because it involves human nature. A company must have well-documented policies in place and employees must be aware of these rules. Employees need to be trained on proper use of the network. Policies often include the use of antivirus software and host intrusion prevention. More comprehensive endpoint security solutions rely on the network access control. And that was all about the network attack mitigation. And now we will go through the device security. And one area of network that requires special attention to maintain security is the devices. You probably in your computer you have a password or even in your smartphone or a tablet. And you are using other tools to enhance the security of your devices. So that's correct. The security settings are set to the default values when a new operating system is installed on a device. In most cases, this level of security is inadequate. And as for the Cisco router, the Cisco AutoSecure feature can be used to assist securing the system as it is shown here in this example. In addition, there are some simple steps that should be taken that apply to most operating systems. And these are the default username and password should be changed immediately. Access to the system resources should be restricted to only the individuals that are authorized to use this or those resources. And any necessary service and application should be turned off and uninstalled when possible. Often, devices shipped from the manufacturer have been sitting in a warehouse for a period of time and do not have the most up-to-date patches installed. So, it is very important to update any software and install any security patches prior to implementation. So we discussed about securing the network and we mentioned that even for your computer or smartphone or tablet you have a password. The same will be even for the network devices. To protect network devices, it is important to use strong password. And here it is listed a standard guideline that you have to follow for creating this password. We are not going through this, but it is very important, and most of the important is do not write password down and leave them in obvious place such as desk or monitor. And we have weak and strong password. So it is recommended that you use strong password. And why? You can use the strong because they are much harder to guess. On Cisco routers, leading spaces are ignored for password, but spaces after the first character are not. Therefore, one method to create a strong password is to use the space bar and create a phrase made of many words. This is called a passphrase. A passphrase is often easier to remember than a simple password. It is also longer and harder to guess. And as for additional security that you can add in your password, remember this: strong passwords are only useful if they are secret. There are several steps that can be taken to help ensure that password remains secret on a Cisco router or switch, including these following. We have to encrypt all plaintext passwords. We have to set a minimum acceptable password length. We have to deter brute force password guessing attempts, and even we will disable an inactive privilege access mode access after a specific amount of time. And here in this figure it is shown a sample of configuration based on this following. We use the service password encryption in the global configuration command to prevent unauthorized individual from viewing plaintext password in the configuration file. To ensure that all configured passwords are a minimum of specific length, we use the security password minimum length command in the global configuration mode. And here in this example, the minimum length of the password is set as 8 characters. Threat actors may use password cracking software to conduct a brute force attack on a network device. With this attack, they continuously attempt to guess the valid password until one of those will work. So by using the command logging block for attempts and within as a global configuration command, we deter this type of attack. Here in this example, we are using the logging block for 120 times 3 within 60, which means that we'll block the VTY login attempts for 120 seconds if there are 3 failed logins within 60 seconds. Network administrators can become distracted and accidentally leaves a privileged exec mode session open on a terminal, and this could enable an internal threat actor access to change or erase the device configuration. So, by using the command as exec timeout with minutes and seconds and the line configuration command, if we apply this one, we are telling when what time the privileged exec mode will go in a time out, so will be disabled. And here in this example, it is set that to be out for 50 minutes and 30 seconds. Another way of securing your device is to enable the security shell. Telnet simplifies remote device access but is not secure. Data contained with a Telnet packet is transmitted unencrypted, and for this reason, it is recommended to enable security shell on the device for secure remote access, because the data that will be transmitted using the security shell are encrypted and not easily guessed by the threat actors. And there are some steps that you need to follow to configure and support the security shell. Here it is listed the commands, and we will go through each step. The first step is to configure a unique device hostname. The device must have a unique hostname other than default. The second one is to configure the IP domain name, as it is shown here. To configure an IP domain name of the network by using the global configuration mode command IP domain, and then we enter the name. Step 3 is to generate a key to encrypt the security shell traffic. Security shell traffic between source and destination And however, to do so, a unique authentication key must be generated by using the global configuration command as crypto key generate RSA general key module and the number of bits. This modulus bits determine the size of the key and can be configured from 360 bits to 2048 bits. The larger the bit value, the more secure the key. However, larger bit values also take longer to encrypt and decrypt information. So the minimum recommended modulus length is 1024 or between 1024 bits. And at the step 4 is to verify or create a local database entry. Create a local database username entry using the username global configuration command, and in this example it is used the parameter secret, so the password will be encrypted using the MD5. And at the step 5, authenticate against the local database, which means by using the login local, you in the configuration command you authenticate the VTY line against the local database. And step 6 is to enable the VTY inbound security shell session. By default, no input session is allowed on VTY lines. You can specify multiple input protocols, including telnet and security shell, using the transport input security shell. And here are all the configuration in here done for the router 1. Next, and it is important that a local database entry for a user to be created, as we mentioned here at step 4. And another way to secure your device that is very important, so the threat actors will not be able to access your network, is to disable the unused services. At the Cisco router and switches, start with a list of active services that may or may not be required in your network. By disabling any unused service to preserve system resources such as CPU cycles and RAM and prevent threat actors from exploiting these services. The type of services that are on by default will vary depending on the operating system version. Here, if you use the show IP ports all command, you may be able to verify all the ports that are enabled in your network, your device, sorry. And for the older versions, we use the show control plane host open ports, so you may be able to see these services that are enabled in your device. So with the network attack mitigation and the device security, we are handing all the information about the network security fundamentals. Thank you for being with us at the second part of the network security fundamentals. See you to the next session, and please do not forget to subscribe at this channel and hit the notification button for the new videos that will be uploaded. Please like and share this video.